This is Stephen A. Williams, President and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com, and what I'm going to show you is something that my staff did not want me to show people because they believe that it's like one of our secret weapons to getting collections off of individuals' credit reports. But I'm going to share it with you. I'm not going to make the letter. I'm going to tell you how to construct the letter for yourself. Now, some of you might get upset with that, but that's just the way that we got to do it because I do have to protect the types of letters that we're sending for our clients. But I'm going to show you how you can construct the letter using this specific law. Well, this isn't the law here, but the specific law of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. This is something that is stated in the act that debt collectors must abide by before putting information on your credit reports. Now, first, I'm going to read it and then I'm going to kind of tell you how you need to put your letter together. And this will work 100% of the time if you do it the right way. It's going to get the information removed off the credit reports and then it's going to put the status of your account. I'm going to put that note here into a 90-day, like a 90-day grace. I'll just put it that way. So right here it says preconditions to collector credit reporting. A debt collector must speak to a consumer or send a letter or electronic message about and this was added recently, electronic message about an alleged debt before reporting the account to a credit bureau. Now, remember, in what I've always stated in the letters is that they have to send you a letter giving you the opportunity to dispute the debt. If you don't dispute the debt within that 30-day period, they're going to get that information, have permission to put that information on your credit reports. So we all know that. That's known by pretty much everyone that's probably watching this video. But what people don't know is that it is a gray area on if people even received information because they're not sending this certified mail because they're not going to want to pay that expense of sending certified mail. You're talking about what is it, $3.50 upwards of $4. It may be even more than that now. I don't exactly remember it, but you're talking like $4 to send a certified letter, and if you're doing that with like say 1,000 debt collection letters that you're sending out, that could be $4,000 that you're going to be sending out in hopes of being able to, number one, find the individual, and then number two, that there's no issues with that debt. It's just that's a game that they don't want to play. So what they do is they'll send that information out. They'll send that debt letter out with the 30-day notice, and then they're just hoping that people will just disregard them or don't get them or whatever, and then they have permission, and they're just showing that they have proof that they sent that out. So that's what they lean on. But this is what I'm about to tell you is exactly what you can do to actually get that information removed off your credit reports because they have no proof that they sent you that letter. They're going to always say that they sent the letter, and they actually cannot call you before they send the letter. So that's like a gray area. So let's specifically speak to what you could do to get a collection removed off of your credit reports and get it placed into this 90-day grace. So if you have collections reporting on your credit reports, you don't necessarily have to do a validation. You can just specifically send a letter to the bureaus and a letter directly to the furnisher, which would be the debt collector, stating this information right here. Now, they may try to say, well, we did send it, and you can say, well, what is your proof that you sent it? And then what is the proof that I received it? Because they won't be able to show proof that you received it. Letters get lost in the mail all the time. And trust me, they're not going to want to play that game over one individual doing saying that they didn't get it and they're going to have a lawsuit against them. They would just remove that information and put it into the 90-day grace. Now, so that'll get the information removed off your credit reports. And this is all you have to do right here is craft your letter I'm not going to give you my specific letter because, it just wouldn't be right for my paying customers to give you the exact letter that we're using. But this is the information that you're using. This statement right here, we're not making up anything. We're just basically using the Fair Credit Reporting Act for what debt collectors are, how they're allowed to report to the credit reporting agencies, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. So this is the information right here. You're going to want to craft your letter. And if you did not receive that information, that's what you're stating, is that I did not receive any message from you either by mail, electronically, and you need to send that information to me, and you need to get that information off of my credit reports. And then when you get that information off your credit reports, there's going to be what's called a 90-day grace. During this 90-day grace, this is what will happen on these. Debt collector cannot uh, sue you. They cannot settle the account, which is, people think that that's crazy. Why can't they settle the account if it's into a 90-day grace? Because what you're doing is you're making an official dispute. And when you do that official dispute and they put that on record, they cannot do anything for 90 days. So even if you called them up and said, I owe you $9,000 and I want to settle for 3,000, they cannot accept it until you attest to owing the debt. So even if you call them back, so say for you send a letter, they acknowledge it, they put it into the 90-day grace, debt collector cannot sue, they cannot settle the account, they really can't do anything until they deal with that official dispute that you gave to them. And you need to do this with the bureau, so you're going to want to send your letter to TransUnion, fax. You're going to want to send it to all three, and furnisher. Furnisher is the, and if you even want to take it a step further, original. Because see what happened, this is what's happened when they've done this. And if they've skipped this process, or you can prove, they can't prove that they did this process, is that the they've actually violated the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and the original creditor is going to state that they have no claim to the debt anymore, and they're going to be worried about, hey, we sold that portfolio to that company, and what are they doing with that portfolio? Are they violating with that? Is any of this going to come back to us? So what will usually happen is the original creditor will also choose to take that information off of there when you send this information right here. When you craft your letter and you have this information on there, because they're going to say, whoever we sold this portfolio to, they're abusing, the privilege of reporting that information without getting all of the, giving the debtor time to dispute any of the debt. Regardless of if the debt is yours or not, you have that right to do that. So going to place it into a 90-day grace. Debt collector cannot sue. They cannot settle the account. And it's an official dispute. So even if you owe $9,000 and you want to settle for $3,000, they cannot accept it until you attest to owing the debt. So what happened? What does that mean? What is attest to owing the debt? That means you admit to owing, and you can move forward with a settlement. So you have to do that first. A lot of people are shocked when they hear that they'll say, well, why wouldn't they just go ahead and settle it is because they actually when stuff starts to get recorded, you will be surprised how much these debt collectors start following the rules when they know that you know what you're talking about. You have them on the phone. You will hear things like, okay, we cannot settle that debt because it's in a dispute process. And you'll probably be wondering, well, man, a dispute process. I've probably been doing this disputing, and nothing has really happened. It's because it wasn't disputed the right way. Not to say that this happens on the first time every time, but when they get it and they acknowledge it, this will be the process that you will be in. And then something else that let me tell you the strategy that was just used for a recent client. I did make a video on it. So now, if you've been disputing with with the bureaus and the furnisher, and for whatever reason they are just late, they haven't gotten the information, and they're just playing around like they didn't receive the information, and that's something that happened to one of our clients. So they're playing around like they didn't get the information, and when the client had us negotiate a settlement, and we had us negotiate a settlement, then we did a review of her reports, and we saw the item was removed and the collector admitted to it. They sent money back to her. So what had happened was, and I'm typing this out just for, I'm going to be using these types of notes for some other stuff. So what happened was they played around like they didn't get the information, which was the official dispute. She needed to get a settlement with that specific collector because she was looking at getting a loan for something else that she wanted to do. And the credit union stated that they had to get that information removed so she would be able to get that loan. So we negotiated the settlement. We had here's the crazy thing is that we sent them the notification a month prior. Uh, they pretended like they didn't get the information, so we sent over the power of attorney to go ahead and just settle the debt because she said she just needed to get this stuff done so she can get her other loan. And so we submitted that to them, and then like a few days later, when we did her review, we noticed that the information was removed off of her report, and it wasn't removed due to that information. It was removed because of the previous letter that we sent a month ago, and a month prior to that date. And so what had happened was uh, they all of a sudden had gotten kind of stuck in where they got caught because they had removed the information off the credit report, and they had stated that the debt was not validated. But the problem was that they said they didn't get that letter, but now we have proof that they got the letter because they took the information off of the credit report because it wasn't validated. So we made a call back to the collector and we said that, we know that you got the letter because you've taken care of this information off of our credit reports, and you've sent notification back of that. And they stated that it was an accident and that they were going to pay her the money back. And so what happened was her loan company, she had actually gotten a loan to go ahead and finish off this settlement because what she's working on is something bigger. And they stated that once they received the money that they would send it back. And then she contacted her bank, and the bank said, well, we sent that money to them next day. So they're already still kind of playing games right now where the bank even knows that they got the money because they sent it right away, uh, next day for them, for her as a courtesy. And now the collector is pretending like they didn't get the payment, and that I guess they're just trying to hope that maybe she'll forget, but she's not going to forget. So now let's get back to it here. So to sum it all up, this is what you're going to be crafting your letter. You're going to craft a letter to TransUnion, Equifax, Experian. You're going to send it to the furnisher, who is the debt collector, and the original creditor. You're crafting that letter to state, because you did not receive that information, you did not speak, and this here is not correct. This is not correct, because according to the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, they have to send a letter first. But we're going to just put it in here the way that it's written, that they did not speak to the consumer or send a letter or electronic message about the alleged debt before reporting the account to a credit bureau. This simple statement. So you're going to put here, let me help you out here. So you're going to put the debt collector, their address, city, state, zip. You're going to put RE, and then the account number and original, because they may have that on their file number, that information. And then you're going to put crafting the letter using this information here. So you're going to put that information here. So you're going to craft it where it makes sense using this information right there. And then you'll just put sincerely as it is. Then your name, address, city, and then sign date. And then you're gonna also put in here all right, I had a little interruption there. You know how it is when you're making a video. So we got where we're gonna put this little section here, because you always want to have a call to action, what you want them to do. If you've ever noticed when designing letters, let's just go down here. I think this would be a good lesson for you. There's going to be some bonus for you. So when you're designing any letter for anyone, I don't care if you're sending it, to your boss or whatever, I don't know. You always want to make sure that you have the request that you want. Like, what is the call to action for what you want the person to do? Because I've seen people where they've actually put information like this in a letter, and they did not ask to have, did not tell the bureaus or the furnishers what they wanted them to do with that information. What do you want us to do? You want us to correct it? You want us to remove it? You want us to call somebody? What do you want us to do? Follow up, send you a letter, tell us how this happened or whatever. You want to tell them specifically that you want that information removed. That's your call to action on what you want them to do. Now below here, what you'll do is you'll say CC, and then you can say your state, Attorney General's office, CFP, CFPB, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And you can send these to them, or you could just have them on hold to see how they're going to respond. And then the other one for debt collectors is you could do, we call it here DFI, and that's Department of Financial Institution. They are, in my state, it might be different in your state. This is the department that regulates debt collectors and original creditors, any creditors or finance companies. So you'll want to Include that at the bottom of your letter, and then uh, so you can make sure that they pay attention to it, by having that information on there. What I tell people to do with this is that you can have those letters on hold. You can give it, for collection agencies. I would say you should hear something for collection agencies 2 weeks to 3 weeks. It just depends. You want to send it certified for the collection agencies. Original creditors, maybe 2 weeks to 3 weeks for the response. For bureaus, you're going to have 30 to 60 days. 30 to 60 days. I know a lot of people talking about 30 days to 45 days. We've been seeing up to 60 days for their response on getting stuff back to people. But this will work for you. What it's going to do in review is you're going to use the statute in the law. You don't even have to state it. They know right here that they must give you that opportunity. They either have to speak with you or send a letter or electronic message about the alleged debt. You never did receive it. You're stating in your letter that you didn't receive it. You're going to send that to TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. You can also send it to the furnisher and the original creditor. It's going to make a 30-day grace. Even if you want to settle the debt, be aware that at that grace period, you're going to have to attest to the debt, and then you can do a settlement. Even if you want to settle that debt, they're going to say that they can't until you attest to owing the debt. Once you attest it, then you'll be able to do the settlement. And what does attest mean? That means that you owe the debt. You're admitting to owing the debt. They do play around. They'll pretend like they didn't get the information. So this stuff goes both ways. And I gave you the real life example of a client where after we did a settlement for her, all of a sudden it showed when we did the review that it was off the credit report, which proved that they did get the letter that we had sent initially about disputing the debt, and so they had to send her the money back. And then this is the outline for the letter: debt collector, address, city, state, zip, RE, account number, original file information. All of that stuff would be on your credit reports. And then it's what is regarding a debt collector must speak. This is what you're going to craft your letter using this information. So you would say, my name is so and so. I have a concern about information you place on my credit report. I know by law that a debt collector must speak to a consumer or send a letter or electronic message about an alleged debt before reporting that information to a credit bureau. I request that you immediately remove this information off my credit reports because I did not receive any information, did not speak to anybody, did not get anything electronically. And then when you do that, they're going to put it into that 90-day grace. They're going to pull it off. A lot of the times they might go ahead and take it off, and they're going to cease all collection activities because they know that they've broken the law, and that if you chose to, you would be able to sue them. We're not going to get into that in this video, but you could do that, especially if they go ahead and take the information off of there. Then you have proof that they did not potentially follow the law by sending the information to you. So we're going to end the video here. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different, so you can see my 8-point validation process and my 2-phase settlement process for repairing credit. If you don't have your credit reports and scores, and you're going to need that information ahead of furnishers information, if you don't have that information readily available for you, go to the website your3scores.com to grab those reports. If you have debt collectors coming after you, you can grab my 3-pack of letters. I do ask for a donation on those 3 packs of letters. It is worth it because it can save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars, and it can save you from being sued in court if you know how to respond to debt collectors the right way. Grab my 3-pack of letters. Links are below this video. And there's other links below if you have debt collectors suing you. We can write your third-party debt collector summons responses also. Thank you for your time. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you post your questions and comments. I'll be in there, especially this weekend, answering those. And again, subscribe to the channel, like this video. Thank you for your time. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.